Welcome, viewers, to Midnight Coffee with Faisal. It's Faisal. It's 2 minutes past 12 midnight, and as usual, at the Saturday night here in Malaysia, I will do a live stream. And for those who are viewing us, the regulars who are viewing us, welcome back. And for those who are viewing us for the first time, welcome. Please shout out in the box as to where you are viewing this live stream from. Yeah, and please also do subscribe to my channel, and you will be notified for future live stream that is coming online. Yeah. First and foremost, yeah, let me introduce myself. I am Faisal. I'm an independent management consultant and a business project management coach that helps clients to implement a solution. Yeah. As to why I say I am a business project management coach is that every time when I introduce myself as a project manager or project leader or project sponsor or project champion, people have the perception that I come from architecture or from engineering, from IT, or from to a certain degree manufacturing industry. Well, technically they are not wrong. Yeah, they are not wrong because project management has existed for quite some time, way back, and it is part of the scientific management era during the management evolution process. Yeah. So what happened is that project management has been here for decades, yeah, but it has been taking a back end seat, yeah, a rear end seat, because a lot of organization they are looking at business model and also management model, the way the BAU, the operations way, business as usual. However, the whole world was hit by this pandemic in 2019 and 2020, where the whole world practically stands still. So organization is looking at new business model to survive. So in coming up with the new business model, you cannot achieve a different result by doing the same thing all over again. So there's no more BAU. There is no more the normal ways. Everybody is talking about the new norm, and you have to find a management model that is able to deliver your new business model. This is where project management comes in. Project management has been taken a strongest stage, yeah, up front, front stage, before pandemic, 10 or 15 years before the pandemic. But the pandemic has actually accelerated the use of project management because there's a lot of uncertainty, there's a lot of risk involved in the business, and it's the normal playground for project managers because project management deals with a lot of uncertainties and also with a lot of risk. Yeah. So today, a lot of organization are using a hybrid management model where they blend in the BAU, some of the operations management, plus a major chunk of project management, where organization must be adaptive and be agile in delivering their services or their product or their business model. Yeah. So this show is about ordinary people taking extraordinary actions. So I'll be talking to most of my guests, are ordinary people like you and I, but we go through a lot of challenges, either at a professional sphere or in a personal space. So my guest, which I will introduce you shortly, will be talking about the challenges that she faced in her professional as an interior designer, and also maybe her personal space, where we talk about moving from one place to another, and I let her introduce herself. And going to be a very exciting session this evening, and please, if you have any chat or any shout out in the box as to where you are coming from on this part. Okay, just I will take it. Our first chat coming in from Mastura, our regular. Mastura, welcome back. I hope the flooding situation is able to I mean you are able to recover from the flooding recently, the flash flood that is affected the Klang Valley, especially here in Malaysia. Thank you, Mastura, for viewing this live stream. Yeah. Okay, so what I'll do is that I won't take too much of the time, and I would like to get my guest. Yeah, I will get my guest to introduce herself. She is a very close friend of mine, a very dear friend, who is now in Vancouver, and we will hear from her. Yeah, how she end up in Vancouver, and time check now in Vancouver is 8 a.m. in the morning on Saturday. I think she is the only person that wakes up in Vancouver at this point of time because it's Saturday and everybody is supposed to be sleeping. So what we'll do is that I will bring her on board and let's see uh, what. Uh, what this show, I mean, this live stream is going to discuss, where we talk about the interior design. Yeah, so let's bring her on board. Yeah? Hello, Sarah. How are you?
Hello, Heather. Good morning to me and good evening to you.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. How are you been
Thank you
doing?
so much for having me today.
You're most welcome.
I'm fine, thank you. That was a very fun introduction. I like that.
Oh, thank you. I tried my best. Okay, Sarah, maybe you would like to share with some of our viewers right now that is viewing this live stream as to a little bit about your stories, how you end up
Okay.
in Vancouver. I believe you come from Iran, Iranian
Yes,
background,
yes,
and you've
yes.
been to Malaysia and all this. So maybe rather than
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
rather than
Malaysia is
yeah,
my
rather than I talk
second
about it, I
home.
might as well let you say. Okay, over to you, Sarah, please.
Oh, thank you so much. Hi, everyone. Hi, everyone at home. And all the viewers, thank you so much for joining us today. And I appreciate Dr. Faisal to nominate me as one of the interviewees today to talk about the design challenges, life challenges, and everything that actually make us to warrior in our personal life. Um, just to give a very short introduction to our viewers and audience, I'm Sonia. I have two names, Sara, Sonia, and I moved to Malaysia as a young girl when I was 19 years old, all by myself, and I started, learning and educating in interior architecture, and it was within 2 years that I got a full scholarship, and I moved to London to finalize and just to do the last 2 years of my bachelor in interior architecture in London. And then um, I hit a recession that was not the right time for graduates in UK. It was 2008, if everybody can remember, that was a global recession that it happened. And I think something that we are going to face now again. And I couldn't find a proper job placement for an intern because I remember I applied as a student who could draw, who could just I was a normal student like other with no much of experience, but looking for an internship position. And I remember I applied for 150 architecture firm, and they said, no, we don't have enough resources and we don't have enough projects. It's recession and we don't have project. What do you want to learn? And I remember that I told an architect in the UK, I met him in his office and I said, can I just work for like free? Because there was a very small amount that they had to pay to intern, but I said, I don't want that. I don't even want that. And I just want an open desk, meaning I bring my own laptop. I don't even want to have a proper desk or something. I will just observe. And He said, no, because if we want to train you and if we want to be just fair to you, if you're here to learn, if you assign someone to train you, is more cost to us than you benefit us at this stage of recession. That was not good. Like I couldn't, and I had, I mean, as a student, I could go and just work in marketing, or college offered me like a marketing or ambassador or executive, but I was so certain and somehow stubborn. I said no. I studied 4 years to be an architect. I don't want to work in marketing. I don't want to, I was so into my my uh, course and field of study. I wanted to learn. I mean, I knew at that age it was not something that I can play around with, or I can just let it go and come back. And that was the right time for me to learn, because I was about to graduate. I didn't know anything industry. I didn't know what's the project in real life. I
Mm-hmm.
wanted to close that. Do you know what I did?
No, go ahead.
I asked my professor. He was a very kind of disciplined British guy, and then he said, "I'm gonna." Oh, he passed away last year. Yeah,
Oh,
Jake
sorry to
was
hear that.
Jake. Yeah, he wrote to an architecture firm in Malaysia and said, "Hey, I've got this student. She's really looking to intern job. Can you help her?" And they were British too, like British
Mm-hmm.
couple, German couple practicing in Malaysia, Kuala Lumpur, big interior design firm. So they said, yeah. So I took a ticket and I flew back to Malaysia, and I tried to stay 3 months there to finish my internship. And by the time I finished my internship, I was ready. I had my return ticket to London, and all my house and everything was there.
Uh-huh,
Like
uh-huh.
Faisal, it was there, like my house and everything. They were waiting for me to be there. My friends took care of my place. And I received this letter from architecture faculty of London saying that, Sarah, don't come back. We are closing the architecture faculty. And I was like, what? I mean, you cannot graduate here because the number of students are less than the number of educators. So
Wow.
there is no longer any rationale for us to keep the architecture faculty. We are closing down. So you better graduate there, and there is no job. And I knew that there is no job opportunity there, but I was again ready to give it a try and go back. So the date came, my return ticket was in my hand, and I was just looking at it, not being at the airport, and just, and that was the hardest day in my life, that I had an option to go back, but I decided not to go back.
Mm-hmm.
And I just rang my friend and say, hey, can you just, you know, give all my items to charity, whatever you want to take. My books, you can keep it, and the rest, just give it to charity, and just give the key to the landlord, and I'm not coming back. That was
Mm-hmm.
really heartbreaking moment for, like you have so much hope of going and building your life in London, in the UK. I was very attached. I got a lot of networks there, a lot of friends and everything, so I never saw them again.
Mm-hmm.
I took the challenge to stay in Malaysia. That was better to be there because I could live a life. I could have a proper job. I mean, I got an educator kind of. I got a lecture assistant
Mm-hmm.
job offer from FABE,
Mm-hmm.
from Tantri, and the whole faculty. And I said, well, I can practice, I can be an assistant, I can learn, and I can teach, and I can lead, and I will do things that I was expecting in my education stream that I didn't receive. Now I can perhaps give it back and try to fix those problems. I mean, my personality is always like, fixing, finding a gap, and challenging, finding a solution. This is me. And then studying architecture and design even more emphasize on that you have to detect the problem and you have to find the solution. So you're a solution maker in your life,
Mm-hmm.
wherever you are. So that your mindset just shift to that kind of stream, that whenever there's a problem, there must be a solution. So I worked with a lot of good a team of educators in Fabe. I learned a lot from them, and it was year after that I decided to continue my education in University Malaya,
Mm-hmm.
and I did my master in architecture, augmented reality.
Uh,
2010, I was the one doing my augmented reality, and nobody knew what is augmented reality by then. I mean, I had to just give like 5 or 10 minutes of introduction telling people what is virtual reality, what is augmented reality. But nowadays, in 10 years' time, like now everyone know about it and
yeah.
they talk about, I had to just tell them, when there is screen, when there is a digital space, that's called virtual reality. And when you take it to the real space, that's augmented reality because you augment the
Yeah.
reality and virtual. So I had to just, anyways, cut the story short. I was very proud to have that. I had full support from University Malaya because I was the only one in their architecture faculty to go
Uh,
to that new stream of technology and architecture. I wrote a paper that time, and I got invited to a conference in Germany in
oh.
Weimar Bauhaus University, where was the start of the modern kind of ideas and architecture revolution of you know ideas came from Bauhaus University. It was my dream to see Bauhaus University,
Ah.
and I went there, and it was an amazing trip. I presented my paper in augmented reality, and I had the audience that they said this is the future, and I was so up for it. But I'll tell you why I didn't continue either. Anyway, so doing my master in University of Malaya and having students in Limkoksing University, that was my life. Like, and I was studying, I was teaching, and I was learning. And I remember that was a time that I met you during that time of
Yeah.
teaching in 2010. I got to know you, and I learned a lot from you. I was always coming to you like, Dr. Faisal, project management. Like, can you tell me more about it? I want to learn more about it. I remember that day, and every time I had a friend in Thailand that he was learning project management. I was like, I know the best person. Okay, and I connected him to you. And anyways, um, so my challenges, to be honest, as a girl, like I was the only one, the only uh, showman of my own life. I mean, as everybody else is. I'm not saying I'm the only one, but as a foreigner, as a person, a girl that she had no family. I mean, there to build her life and career. I was always, struggling that what's the right thing to do, what's the best decision to make. And that was really tough, but that was the moment I think I learned a lot. I grew up,
Mm-hmm.
and I was very young, but definitely life was a good teacher. And then the challenges were tough, but at the end of the day, it made me to be a very, very stronger person.
Mm.
Yeah, and I like that. I mean, when I look back, yes, there was tough days that I was into tears. I didn't know how would I go one step further, but I took it, I stand it, I resisted, and I did it.
Mm.
So,
So these are
yeah.
the extraordinary actions that you are taking, moving from one school from
Yes,
you move to
yeah,
Malaysia and then you go to UK and then you come back to Malaysia and then
yeah,
now
mhm.
you end up in Vancouver. So how do you end
Yeah,
up?
yeah. So no, I moved another city as well. Let me tell you this. When
Okay.
I okay, so I moved. I mean, again, I had to say goodbye to Kuala Lumpur and I moved to Malacca. So I knew no one there. Malacca, they don't speak that much of good English, and it's so Bahasa based and Chinese based. The Chinese speak Chinese, and the Malay speak Bahasa, and they don't really have that much of level of communication. And it's so like strange to see a foreigner in Malacca, a girl, like what she's doing here. And yeah, me and a friend of mine, we were promoted as the campus coordinator of Malacca. So imagine I was the girl moving to Malacca and being there to take care of the whole big campus that was called Haunted House. you know, when I went there, everybody told me like, "You were alone." And I was like, "Yes." They're like, "Do you have a family?" I said, "No." And they said, "Do you have a husband?" I was like, "No." And then, "Are you alone here?" I was like, "Yeah." What's wrong with that? I was like, "Good luck." I was like, okay. And I stayed 2 months in the haunted, so-called haunted house of the Limcovi New campus, which was a hotel. They turned it to a campus,
Yeah.
Lisbon hotel in a Portuguese settlement. That was really tough again to being more lonely than ever because even there was no friend. I left all my friends in Kuala Lumpur and I was the only one again there. So again, challenge, be a fighter, resist, don't give up. And I set up, but finally, because the workload was way too much, I was wearing different hats like campus coordinator, marketing coordinator, student coordinator, academic coordinator. So I was the only one. Can you believe it? Like I had 30 staff taking
Yeah.
under me,
Mhm.
and I was only 27 years old. Like,
I believe you.
did I do it? How did I do it? I mean, when I go back, like, how did I do it? And then I received 150 students per week,
Hmm.
and then guide them, lead them, teach them, put them in their own accommodation, and make sure everything goes smoothly. Send them back to Surabaya, another batch next week. So I did this for 1 year, and I said, "That's it. I'm gonna go back to my creative industry." So I
Hmm.
set up a firm, an architecture firm,
Hmm.
in Malacca with a friend of mine who was also a Malay. So he was local, and then we started this this architecture, and we started running projects in
Ah,
Kuala Lumpur. So I
yeah.
had drive back and forth to Kuala Lumpur. We had few projects in Malacca, and then I joined a business community called Business Network International, which is American based, BNI. I joined them as a member, so that helped a lot in terms of network and connection business wise.
Hmm.
I got few projects offered from them,
Hmm.
like the BMW showroom that I told you. It was an
Hmm.
offer from BNI, a good friend of mine, and I was lucky to get that project all by myself and
Hmm.
join it to another bigger architecture firm.
Hmm. Hmm.
So um, we had a designer coming from Germany again to lead us about the BMW corporate identity and make sure that everything is based on their standard. That was a very good project. And then my whole challenge as a foreigner, from my very personal perspective, was my cultural barriers that I had. I tried my best to just flow and do as Roman do in Malacca and in Malaysia, but still you are vibrant, you are passionate, and somehow, like especially Malaccan people, they were shy. And the moment I will go with load of energy and like, "Hey, let's do this," and they were like, "Bye," they run away. That who's this? Is she out of her mind? And like, so the cultural barrier was not that. I was more into, type of communicative, energetic, going and make friends, just like that, and communicate with people. Man or woman didn't make really that much difference for me. I would see them equal. But cultural barriers, like being shy. And then I stopped my own firm. I joined another architecture firm. It was a very good architecture firm doing very great project in Malacca. And again, the cultural barrier between me and my employer, I was
Hmm.
communicative. I wanted clear communication as the project runs, without proper leads and instruction. How would you really carry on the way? And these were my principles. Like I would say, only a clear communication from your lead will lead you to a proper, successful result.
Hmm.
And that was what I was seeking for in that architecture firm, but I did not get it. Everybody were talking in their own language, in their own kind of, and I was always kept aside and out of. the conversation. I didn't know what's going on. So again, cultural barrier. Not saying that they did it deliberately, but they said it because they couldn't really speak good English.
Mm,
That it was nothing personal. It was just the environment that this was my challenge. So again, what I did is just like, okay, I worked with them 3 years, and then I decided to go back to Kuala Lumpur, Malacca, after being there for 5 years. I love that city. I love everything about Malacca. Very cultural, but I had to leave because there was no more job opportunity as a person who wanted to really succeed, and
mm.
I wanted more happening stuff in my life. So I went to Kuala Lumpur again.
All right.
And I set up another firm over there. I bought over a business which was, gosh, what do we call that? MDEC, MDEC company.
MDEC, yes,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah, yeah. I
Asia
bought
Design.
a, yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, MSC company that you can get your own visa and everything. So I had to secure myself on the visa side that I can get myself under my company visa. So, and I was happy I could help a few people also from Syria. I could help
Mm,
them to get a visa for them. They worked for me.
mm,
There was another Iranian girl that she really didn't want to go back to Iran, and then we helped her to get her visa and work for us. It was
mm,
a multidisciplinary kind of company that I set up. It was more into website design, interior design,
mm,
also. Oh, I forgot to tell you about my fashion design. And then, and I bought my Saran-collection, which I didn't tell the audience. I started design brand of shoe and
Ah,
handbag,
okay, okay, okay.
handmade
Yeah.
in
Maybe I
in
can show it. I can show the viewers your website if you.
yeah, sure.
Yeah, okay, okay. Okay, let me try and pull. Let me try and pull out your website. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, here it is. Okay, all right. Okay,
Mm.
Sarah, all yours. Okay, go ahead.
Oh, thank you. Okay, so on the right side, you will see my Saran architecture that shows all the projects that I did. And then Saran collection talks about my shoes that I started. Okay, this was another challenge. I had a passion to do my shoes and well, I had a passion for fashion because I was grown up in my mom home mason kind of fashion. I mean, not she was not a fashion designer, but she always had this passion for customizing stuff for us as a kid. So
Mm-hmm.
I grew up in her fabric and scissors and whatever. I mean, I was observing her all my childhood, how she makes dresses and everything. She had a passion for it. If she didn't do it for a living, she did it as a hobby. So, and my dad was a builder, so I kind of built this to passion as my parents had kind of leave an impact on me. I follow my parents' um, love and interest. Um, I became interested in shoe design. So I started sketching in 2012. I started like doing a lot of sketching. I showed to my friend and my co said, Sarah, why don't you to make it to a product? This is beautiful. I was like, nah, really? Nah. I had so much of self doubt, and until the day that I was crossing one of the mall in Bukit Bintang, there was a shoemaker. She was making shoe. I said, "This is my sketch. Can you make it to a shoe?" And she said, "Yeah, I charge you $800, 800 ringgit to do that." And I was like, okay, that's expensive, but I'm gonna do it." So I paid her 800. I remember I paid her 800 ringgit, and she made a beautiful. My first pair of shoes was
Oh,
produced. Was over the moon. I was so happy, and I couldn't believe that finally my ideas on the sketch and a sketch to a product materialized. So
ah,
I started showing it to people, and they said, "Oh, this is great! I love it! I love it! Let's like And then my fellow friend that I told you that we set up an architecture firm. He encouraged me a lot to do the um, shoe design and everything. So um, I took a ticket to Indonesia because that's where I heard, and I was connected to a beautiful lady um, that she said she gonna help me with shoe production.
Mm.
So I took a ticket. I reserved a hotel. I went to Bandung and I started, looking for shoemakers.
Mm.
Bandung is famous for shoemakers. So if you see my collection 2015, you see my shoes, all the 15, yeah, if you go back. Yeah, that one.
2015?
The middle one. Yeah, the middle. All the shoes were made in Bandung.
Ah, okay.
They are they are not genuine leather, they're PU, but so I was kind of brave with selecting colors, pink, yellow, red. I mean, why do we go black and like chocolate color all the time? Oh, that's my first. Do you see Natura? Look at the Natura one. That was the one that my
Yeah,
very
this one,
first.
Matura, yeah.
That was the one that was my first pair of shoes that was made in Malaysia. Yeah. So I had this collection done in Bandung, and then it took a long. I wasn't happy with it took them like 6 months to produce 100 pair of shoes.
Mm.
So it was too long. So I had to change my manufacturer, and I found these people in Iran that they do perfect shoes, and the leather came from Turkey. So I had to buy batik. Okay, you can see my inspiration of batik in my shoes. I where you are inspired as a designer to the moment. You can't just stick to your own culture. You can't just stick to what you learned before. You have to constantly keep learning as a designer. I mean, as a person, not just a designer. You got to be wise and alert to your environment. So that was the effect of Malaysian culture, batik on me and my ideas. I love it. Indonesian batik, Malaysian batik. So I went to a fabric shop. I bought a lot of batik from batik pattern, and I said I'm gonna make them to a shoe. So those shoes are inspired by Malaysian culture and modern form and
I
design.
see, I see, I see, I see, I see.
Yes,
Okay, no, that's good
yeah.
to hear. That's good to hear because
Thank
when
you.
when I was going through your website just now, I said, "Wow, there are a lot of things," and that's why the question that I asked is that okay, for those viewers who wants to order the shoes, yeah, please follow her on the website is on available on Instagram on the LinkedIn, yeah, so you can go into
Yeah.
the in and then the contact
Mm.
info website is there, so you can do the pre-order and all those things. Is it still available for pre-order or for purchase or have
For pre-order, yes, like we can have that, yes. But nothing in stock now. We sold
Mhm,
all of them, and due to my immigration to Canada, I was so busy with other things to do, and the
mhm.
COVID hit.
Yeah.
Um, so I couldn't really produce anything, but that's definitely something I'm gonna continue again. So it's on pause at the moment, but I'm gonna continue again. Um, I'm keeping this brand alive because it's your passion and this is something within you. You can't just forget it, because it's truly from heart. I didn't do it for a job. I didn't do it for a profit. I mean, it was good if I would come with a profit. Don't take me wrong. I mean, I made it a business to make money, of course, but
Yeah.
my initial idea was not money because it was just something in me that was calling that, hey, produce something, produce your ideas of shoes and to some product that you want. And yeah, I mean, just answering the needs and the passion that you have, just respond
Okay.
to it.
We need to say that okay, all these things is happening while you are in Malaysia, right?
Mm,
And
yeah.
when actually that you migrate or move to Vancouver
Last
or
year I
last year?
moved to Canada. Yeah. Well, this is this interesting story of my life again. I mean, I went for 1 month from 2020 January. I went to visit my family with my husband for a month.
Mm-hmm.
And we just went with one small suitcase to see the family. And that's it. And I got a stock in Iran due to COVID. The pandemic was all over. Malaysia closed the borders.
Mm-hmm.
So I never got a chance to say goodbye to Malaysia and to my friends.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
the same thing that happened to me in England. You remember my
Yeah.
story that
Yeah.
I didn't get a chance to say goodbye to my friends and
Yes.
the
Yes.
house that I had in London and everything. So
Yeah.
the same story happened to me. This was not recession. This was pandemic this time.
Ah, I
So
see.
I had to call a friend. I was waiting for Malaysian to open the borders, but it was taking too long, and I was paying rent for my house and my car and everything was there. So I asked a friend to just take care of my stuff. The important stuff was then to me, and the rest was given to charity again. So,
Ah, okay.
so I never met Malaysia again, to say, but I will come back one day to Malaysia and
Yes,
again,
please. Yes, please. We are
after
more than welcome.
after 15 years of being there. Can you imagine? It really was heartbreaking
Yes, yes.
not being able to properly, feeling the last days being in Malaysia. Anyways, that's life, I'm just accepting what it comes. So beyond my control, what can I do?
Yeah, yeah.
So we were lucky that we applied for our permanent residency when we were in Malaysia. So it takes us 2 years, and I had to show Canada that I'm eligible, like my work experience, my English proficiency, whatever they wanted to prove that you're a professional skilled worker.
Mm-hmm.
So we applied through a skilled worker, and then we got our permanent residency from Canada. So
Oh, so
we came last year.
so it's just I mean quite new. When you are, I mean, you are you set yourself, you set foot in Canada.
Mhm.
It's
Yeah.
last year, but I see from your LinkedIn is that you have achieved a lot when you are in Canada. A lot of
Oh yeah.
you founded a IIDA Vancouver chapter, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this is interesting. I want to tell this with share it with audience and people who will watch this later.
Mm-hmm.
Um, well, as an interior designer, as an interior architect, I think everybody know IIDA because that's International Interior Design Association is a global international. Everybody know what they do. They are more into advocacy and setting standards for how to run a job as an interior designer. They're an organization, non-profit organization. I started looking for membership. Like I wanted to be a member and visit them and I knew that they have chapters in everywhere, like
Mm-hmm.
all the
Mm-hmm.
countries.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't find anything in Vancouver. They were not there.
I
So
see.
I said, I'm coming to Vancouver. This is when I was in Iran. I started writing to them. I said, I'm coming to Vancouver, but I don't see you have a city center there. I mean, why? And they said, we don't have anybody to take care of the cities. I said, I, can I nominate myself? And they were like, yes, yes. You want to do this? I was like, yes, I'm crazy enough to do this. Um, so I stepped up and I said, can I start, promoting you and getting member? I'll become the first member. And interestingly, there were 6 members already prior to me, but nobody take care of, having a city
Ah, I see.
center.
Yeah.
They were members. They were just members from Seattle, like, Northern Pacific chapter. But nobody volunteered to be, I'm gonna promote you. I'm gonna have a proper city center here. So I
Mm-hmm.
said, yeah, why not? I mean, I will just do this. I mean, I know I'm new. I know that it's a big stone to hit, but I'll try my best. So it happened and it's flowing smoothly and we're still in the process and we've got few members more and we find out that we have dual membership with Interior Design Canada. It's called
Mm-hmm.
IDC.
Mm-hmm.
So IDC and IIDA, which is American based, they have a dual allied membership. So those members from IDC can buy a cheaper membership and easier membership from IIDA. So they
I
are like
see. Okay.
allied.
All right. All right.
So some of them they don't didn't know that, so we started promoting the idea that hey, if you're IDC member, easily you can be IIDA member. And I got invited a few weeks ago to a college, an arts college, to give a talk about IIDA and the membership and everything. So that was good. And so far, being a member of Northern Pacific IIDA chapter, I got the chance to be a juror, industrial speaker. Talk to industrial speaker at college, but and also be a juror and a judge and a moderator for students who attend a competition.
Ah.
So there are a lot of, this is the beauty of, the whole scenario. When you stand up for one thing, good, the rest of the good things flow and just they come on your way. You
Mm.
know,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
don't. So my message here is that, yeah, I remember I called a friend in Toronto, and he's here for 10 years, and he told me, "Sarah, are you stupid to do a volunteer job? Who does a volunteer job? I mean, why you have to?" I was like, "No, you don't know. Some things is not about money. Is about something is about you giving to the industry, you being useful and leaving an impact. You
Mm-hmm.
stand up for something that the rest don't,
Mm-hmm.
and you see something in a way that not ordinary people, as you said, or not many people. I'm ordinary too, but what I mean is that not many people will see. So if you see a light, go for it. If you see something is there for you to do and you can help, just go for it, and the rest of the thing will follow. This is a big opportunity to me, honestly, because I got connected to fantastic designer in Vancouver so far, just
Ah,
through IIDA. Just
okay.
through IIDA, during the pandemic, not being able to go out and meet people, everybody's working from home. How do you want to make a network?
Mm-mm.
But because I step up to do the volunteer job, now big people are coming back to me, the
Mm.
lead designers. Again, it's not about benefits, it's about doing the right thing.
Mm-hmm.
So advantage is coming to you, benefits coming to you without you asking for it. So
Mm.
always a step up to do the right thing. Yeah, this is my principle in my life.
Even that is your principle, your personal principle, but you're able to translate it into action
Hmm.
in Vancouver. So although you have just been there for how many since last year, so you're talking about
Not even a year. Not
not
even a
even a
year.
year, right? You're not even a year there, and you have
Yeah.
already started the local chapter, and then you start networking and all those things. And over and above, you are also a project manager, assistant project manager in Vancouver in a company in
Yeah.
Vancouver. Yeah. So and then I was made to understand that soon to be the director of the center, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
I'm so looking forward to the good news
Thank
of when
you.
you were appointed as a director because it
Oh
started as a
yeah.
volunteer, you know. Yeah, but what are things that these are the challenges that you face in both personal and professional sphere, you know,
Mhm.
in moving about and working. But how do you find working in the projects? Since you work in projects in Malacca, in Kuala Lumpur, in Iran, and also in Vancouver right now,
Mhm. Mhm.
uh, what are the challenges that you face? You've described about Malacca because of the cultural background and the communication, the sort of things.
Cultural barrier. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and Kuala Lumpur is not it's not that difficult because I think
Mm.
it's quite a metropolitan
Yeah.
setup in Kuala Lumpur, and I don't see you have an issue with Iran working in Iran because a lot of people
No.
there speak Persian and all those things, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
but when you go to Vancouver, do you face any cultural setting background? I mean, barriers, or is it better
Okay.
the situation there?
It's not about the culture this time. It's about the laws and the standards.
Mm-hmm.
As a project manager, when you come from another country, you're familiar with the laws and the standards and the principle and the authority and the permission and everything of that. particular city or country.
Mm,
But when it comes to Canada, they are really high level when it comes to standard
mm,
safety,
mm,
and they're way better than many other countries that I've ever
mm,
been.
mm,
And this is a challenge for me to catch up with the codes and the standards and the
mm,
laws and principles, regulations, and here, which is so detailed, so detailed. So I have to register for a building code. But soon I'll take a building code and law, and you can your education must continue. You can't really stop. And this is new to me that when I was in Malaysia, we didn't have something like continuing education unit, CEU. We didn't have that. But over here, every professional need to have their CEU, whatever they do,
mm,
meaning that they have to continue education and fulfill hours to make sure they catch up with the recent knowledge or recent technology or trend or whatever it is, and prove it to the organization that you are updated. Otherwise, you cannot practice.
mm.
So, to
Yeah.
me, these are all new. Like I'm learning, and you have to constantly learn, which is good. Yeah, and
The-
Canada is very much into their own certification. This is something that I don't find it that much appealing, and I don't see that much rational behind it. I mean, yes, safety when it comes to welfare of the society and the safety, yes, who can question that? But somehow it's too much into certification of their own, and you just like, why do I have to go through your filter all the time? And then you can recognize me. I have like 10 or 12 years of being elsewhere and meeting lots of people and working in variety of streams and everything. But this is a little bit narrow mindset that I find in Canada. Like everybody has to go through our education, and we don't accept the rest of the education. So every country has its own
yeah.
pitfalls and benefits. And, yeah,
No,
so
it's not. It's I think what they call it in the US, they call it PDU. In PMI, the Project Management Institute, they call
mm-hmm,
it PDU, Professional Development Unit. By attending a certain
mm-hmm,
program, by
mm-hmm,
attending
mm-hmm,
conference and all those things, you get certain
yeah,
points that you can, and even to what you call it, to appear on live stream like this, they also consider as a PDU. That means they take it,
yes,
yeah,
yes,
they
totally.
yeah, they take it, okay, you are doing something for the what you call that, for industry, and then so
For
you,
industry and
yeah,
the
you,
community. Yeah,
yeah, you
yeah.
get certain PDUs attached to it. But
Mm.
Canada is not, it's not alone. The Australian and New Zealand is also the same. They also have their own,
England.
yeah, same set of things. And UK also, you know it, you have that BSI, British Standard Institute, that come out with a lot of all those things. And US is ANSI, American National Standard Institute. So every country is trying to come up with their own standard. At the end of the day, is to ensure consistency across the board. But what you say is true. There must be some collaboration across the world,
Yeah,
the globe.
yeah.
That's I think in engineering, yes, and in engineering, they have, I can't remember offhand, but the accreditation body has signed a Washington Accord, where all the countries around the world, all the accreditation bodies have signed the accord, to follow up to a certain standard and all those things. So Malaysian Institute of Engineers, because I'm an engineer myself, so once upon a time, so we have this sort of standards, that means
Wow.
engineers from Malaysia can go to work to Dubai, Dubai can go and work in US can go work in Canada, and also because we have signed up the what we call it the Washington Accord, on the standards, in terms of education and all those things. So maybe you might want to use that philosophy or that framework for your Vancouver interior design, so that you are able to allow people from Canada to go out and work, and also people from outside Canada to come in and work.
To come on board, yeah.
Yeah,
Well, that's the thing. If that that's very good kind of idea.
Mm-hmm.
If people come from outside Canada and here, they have to go through training and they have to, no matter what. I mean, if you want to be a plumber, electrician, you want to be, I don't know, like uh, whatever you do, you have to have a certificate. Like whatever single thing that you do, and you're pro at it, doesn't matter. You have to get the certificate. So this is a little bit challenging because as a newcomer, you already have, come from a long struggling way, and you're already like, exhausted of all the things that you try to do to get settled, and yet it's just the beginning.
Mm. But there are a lot of things that you need to catch up. If you, because for you to get the certificate or the license, so to speak, because the architect will need the license to sign off
Mhm.
the
Mhm.
what you call it, to sign off the plan, and I think the
Yeah.
interior designer also need to have some form of license for you to be able to sign
Totally.
off the plan. Yeah.
Totally.
So
Can I, if I, do we have interior designers here in our audience? Do you think as
uh,
well?
I have published it, but let's hear if
Yeah.
there's any interior designer.
I
Oh,
wanted to just tell them that this is a very good this is a global exam that is called NCDIQ,
mhm.
that tests the knowledge of interior designers, and it's a three-part program, foundation, professional, and practice. So just want to introduce that. It's NCDIQ. That if they can Google it and see that it's a North American kind of certification.
There is a interior designer here, Morgan Griffin.
Oh, okay. So just from Margie Griffin, I'll bring the book and show. Maybe she knows, but I'll just make sure that
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
give me a second.
Yeah, sure, sure. Go ahead. There you are, Morgan. Oh, hi. How are you, Morgan? How are you? You're signing in from Dubai, I believe, and the time in Dubai is almost coming up to 9 p.m. Hi, hi, hi. So
Okay.
it's
She's in
great to
Dubai.
yeah, great to see you here. Khalitun Shitori, Morgan. Azizam. Hubi, Hubam.
Hi. Good, good. Good to see you, Morgan.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is the book that I was talking about. Like you can see me like okay, this is it's called NCDIQ Reference
And okay.
Manual. Yes. And this book is about three parts exam that an
Mm-hmm.
interior designer in US or Canada need to go through it and
Mm-hmm.
sit for an exam to be registered as an interior. It's not compulsory, but if anybody got this, it's just like the highest certificate for an interior designer, and they instantly get recruited. So
Okay. Okay. All right. That's good. That's a good what you call point. Thank you,
mm,
Sonia,
welcome.
for introducing us to that.
Yeah,
And for
yeah,
viewers who are viewing
sure.
this again, they can Google up about
Yeah,
that.
and if they have a question, they can just reach out to me through LinkedIn, and then good to see you too.
Yeah, good to see you too, and it's awesome. Yeah, so she's saying it's awesome about that thing, and then you can go to Canada straight away. Yeah,
Yeah, sure. You can. They can always reach out to me through my LinkedIn and just ask any question or if any other thing that they want to know. I can help them always.
yeah, you
Yeah,
can.
that's my LinkedIn.
That's LinkedIn. So okay, all right. Sarah, we are coming to the end of the 1 hour show, and as usual, whenever you have fun, time seems to fly whenever you have fun. it,
Yeah,
it
it was
is
fun
it's great
talking to you too.
yeah, it's great to have you
Thank you.
on this show, and maybe some last words that you would like to say to the audience, to the viewers, for those who are viewing it live, and also for
Mm,
those who are viewing it later. What are
mm,
the things that in your experience, whether it's personal and professional, what are the things I can
yeah.
pick up a few, like don't give up, and then do good things, and then the older thing will pick it up. I mean, will flow
Yeah,
together. Is there?
absolutely. Yeah, 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 absolutely. This is my most important highlight if I want to tell anybody that who's trying to build up their career and succeed is that don't panic by the final result that you set for yourself, the final goal that you set for yourself. I want to be a star designer. I want to be international designer. I want to be the best. But it's okay, good to have a goal, good to have some limits set, but don't always keep looking at it, but plan it the way through and take the next step. I remember those days that I wanted to learn 3D software and I was looking at beautiful renders and I was like, how do I achieve this? Like, wow, that's too far from where I am. And
Mm-mm.
it always made me panic and never approach it. But then I learned that if I had started a year ago, now I would be there. So don't kind of look at the final results all the time. Take the next step that you can see,
Uh,
something that you can control. Like if you're in a darkness and you can't really see the end of the tunnel, but if you can see just one step further, just do it. Just take the one step and then the next, and you will be out of the dark tunnel.
mm.
So this is something that cost me fortune to learn in my life. That just take the next step that you are sure about.
All
Yeah,
right. It's okay. Thank you, Sarah or Sonia, on the some of the reminder, even to myself. Sometimes we like to see what is the end game, but sometimes
mm, mm.
in moving towards the destination, people forget about the journey, right? So you're talking.
Exactly, totally,
Enjoy the
totally.
journey, and then
Yeah,
be
yeah,
adaptive, be agile as we move along, and then adjust accordingly.
absolutely,
And so,
absolutely.
okay, let's take
Yeah,
some of the chat that comes in before we
sure.
knock off. Yeah. So
Yeah.
Mastura said, it's an interesting session. Yes, very interesting. Thank you, Mastura, for
Thank you
staying.
so much, Mastura, for sticking and staying and following till the end of the show. Thank
She's
you.
a regular. She's a regular. Been following since the day one that I started
Oh,
live stream. Yeah, and
yeah.
she said thank you, Doc and Sarah. Yes, you're most welcome, and thank you for
You're
being.
most welcome.
Yeah. Okay, all right. That's the time that we have for tonight. Sarah, please just hang on. Have your coffee first while I'll wrap up the session, and I will
Sure.
catch up with you after the live
Yeah.
stream. Yeah. All
Yeah,
right.
I'll be there. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Ciao.
All right, ladies, gentlemen, viewers, thank you very much for those who are joining. I mean, who are staying with us, and for those who are active on the chat line. It has been indeed a pleasure, and for us this evening, and Morgan was saying thank you. You are most welcome. You are most welcome, and thank you very much for staying with us also, Morgan. Yeah, highly, highly, highly mamnun. Okay, what I'm saying. uh what we're saying here is that what Sarah is saying is that, or sometimes we call her Sonia, is that there are a lot of inferences that we can learn, a lot of lesson that she has shared with us. Yeah, and but one thing that I noticed with a lot of people, extraordinary people. That, ordinary people that takes extraordinary action is that never giving up. So one of it is like Sarah and other people, all those guests that I have, they are sending in the same tone. That means never give up, and continuously learn, continuously adapt to the situation that you are in, and as we go along, we will find, yeah, we will find the solution as we move forward. And again, sometimes uh, it takes something to this is what we call the law of attraction, because like what Sarah was saying, her case is that, she volunteered to do something, and then this is law of attraction. When you do something good, you attract all the good things and the all good people to come in together with you. So this is where some of the key messages that we can pick up from the challenges in her design, in her design field. Of course, there are a lot of other things that we want to discuss, but the time is not on our part. But I believe Sarah will be coming back on part two. Yeah, Sarah is willing to come back in part two. I hope. Yeah. I hope she's willing to come back in part two, where we discuss about the architectural part or the interior designer, and I wanted to know how she has progressed, because she has discussed about the time that the challenges that she faced in Malaysia, and then she has just uprooted herself, and then now it's less than a year in Canada, and maybe we want to hear when she becomes the director of IDA. I hope she has time for us when she's director, a very busy person, over and above her work. And I hope we will get her on board the part two of this conversation, yeah, of this conversation. And final message coming in, Moge, Aziza, terima kasih to you. Yes, you are most welcome, and I'm glad that you still remember our Bahasa Malaysia. And a blessed Sunday to you. All right, viewers, that's what we'll do is that she would say, okay, that would be great. Yeah, that would be great. I think, Sarah, please take note that there are people who still wants you to come back again. And I hope with that, the time now is a few minutes, 2 minutes past 1 minute past 1 here in Malaysia, Kuala Lumpur, and it's 9:01 in Vancouver. And I would really appreciate uh, Sara or Sonia, who took time to spend time with us early morning on Saturday, while and sharing her experience with us. And with that, as I said, the world is still in the pandemic, although some borders are start opening up, and some of the SOP are being relaxed, where you are no longer required to wear the facial mask and all those things. But does not matter. Whatever it is, please be vigilant about yourself, your surrounding, your family, and all those things. What we need to do is together we can break this pandemic and turn it into endemic, and together we'll manage the situation. Yeah, and until then, have a blessed Sunday. Have a blessed Sunday here in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, and a very good morning and a blessed Saturday to viewers in Canada. And until then, until next week, where we will discuss about other challenges. And I would like to sign off for now. And please stay safe and take care of each other. Yeah. Good night, and thank you for viewing this live stream with us with me and Sarah. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, everyone. That's a wrap.
That's a wrap.